Boys and girls, moms and dads, welcome back to Pin to Pin, the Volleyball Podcast. My name is Ryan Tolman. I'm your host. Sitting here to my right is Danger Will Robinson. We got producer Noah Cotterman behind the screen. I have no idea what the date is. It's Sunday, January 8th, 7th, 4th, 6th, 8th. Anybody know the date?
Noah, help. You have the
January
computer.
9th.
January 9th.
We were close.
This is episode 4, and let's get this show rolling. I know the first thing you're all thinking right now is, hey, are Will and Ryan wearing the exact same shirt? And the answer to that is yes. Yes, we are.
Why? Why are we wearing the
It's
same
organic.
shirt?
We did not have this
Did not
plan.
plan it. He knows I do not like matching, and if you've coached with us, you know I don't like matching. So
Yeah,
this was meant to be.
Because Andrew
Clearly,
McCall and I matched all the time, and you always were like, oh, I don't do my own
I
thing.
did it once. There's a picture to prove it.
Yeah, we looked great. We coached today. We were coaching our girls' teams today, or the beginning of the girls' club season here in Arizona, and this is what we coached in. So we just, nobody likes doing extra laundry. Why change?
Yeah, and I'm just too tired.
And Noah's mad. Noah's mad that we are wearing the same
not
shirt.
mad.
You are mad.
I'm not mad.
He lectured us
He did.
at least 5 times.
Oh, you guys should change. Blah.
No,
I
he
just
said
think it would look
you
better.
need to change.
I just think it would look better if you don't match.
Okay, well, take your shirt off. Let's do this shirtless since we don't want to match.
Wow, not ready for that.
They're not ready for
They're
that.
not,
That's
right?
nothing to me. They're not ready for it.
Okay, so hey, let's get going here.
What are we talking about today?
Volleyball.
Good.
Yeah, we're gonna dive into it. So let's recap where we've been so far. First episode, kind of an intro, where who we are and what we're gonna talk about. Second episode, we just talked volleyball in general, just like what the sport is all about, getting your kids started, where to find it, stuff like that. Episode 3, a week ago, was we talked about club volleyball, prep volleyball, the differences between the two, what to expect from a club, how to pick a club, what to expect from a high school experience, that kind of stuff. Culture. We talked about culture, which was really good. We got some good feedback about that. Handful of people, all of our viewers, handful, really enjoyed the conversation about culture. So if you're a loyal viewer, we appreciate your feedback. We would love to have more comments on
what
our
we should
YouTube page.
100%. Like what we should do, what you want to hear from us.
Yeah, absolutely.
We don't know what you want.
Yeah, comments would be great. Even negative ones. If you think we're dumb,
We got tough skin.
let
we
us
coach.
know. Yeah, we want to know. So
what's this one going to be then?
So this episode, we're going to go through each position of volleyball. We're going to talk a little bit about what that position entails, and kind of skills that you need, that kind of thing, and then some philosophical stuff. What I think the idea behind this is to give players and parents a pretty good idea of what to look for. Here's an example. My little sister, Rachel, she lives in Utah with her family. She was a really good volleyball player, in her day, back in the day, as they say. And when she was in the 6th grade, she was like 5'6", 5'7". She was fully grown, but we had no idea. 6th grade, right? That's young. So when she started playing volleyball, she's one of the taller ones at the time. And luckily she had a coach with some foresight, put her on the outside, thinking that she would grow a little bit more. She could jump. She had a great arm. She's a really good player. She capped out at 5'6", 5'7". Would have been a gnarly libero. Would have been a phenomenal setter. She chase everything down, right? And so had she maybe had a little bit more guidance early on, or my parents had they known a little bit more about, what position you could try to push your daughter towards, I think then at that point you can make a little bit more informed decision as to what's happening. Mm-hmm. So we're gonna work through each position and give hopefully a good base for people to go off of.
Yeah, and we're gonna miss some stuff, but it's
that's part of it.
Yeah.
Full disclosure, we have no show sheet this time.
No, this is like a live version of this show.
Yeah, we knew the idea of what we wanted to talk about. We knew where we wanted to go this time. Not that we didn't the other stuff, but we had a little bit more detail involved. This time we want it to be a little bit more organic. We maybe want some argument. I'd love to disagree with both of you at some point. We do it all the time. We just haven't done it on camera yet.
No, we haven't. Maybe a little, but it wasn't like,
We have some pretty good disagreements between the three of us at different times.
Second dinner. Do the viewers know what a second dinner is? Have we talked about that?
I don't know if we've talked about it yet.
What's a second dinner?
Have we talked about that yet, Noah?
And how did it...
No, we've not mentioned the second dinner yet.
Where did it
Ever
originate?
elusive.
So second...
Why is it a thing? Like, they got to know
Second
this.
dinner's a thing because we like to eat.
And because as volleyball coaches, we get out of the gym, that stupid convention center, and we're like, all right, we need bad food. And then later, we go get more food.
So second dinner originated with Andrew Yamashiro and myself. The first time we coached together, we were in Denver for a travel tournament, and it was the first night we were there. We got in late.
Yep.
And it was 10, 11 o'clock at night, trying to find some place to eat because we were hungry at that point. And so then I don't know why we coined the phrase second dinner, other than that it was legitimately our second dinner, because you eat before you get on the plane and then you eat after. So that kind of the start of it. And
Wasn't
then
it a sushi place? Isn't that where it started? Do you remember this?
Denver, Denver was like, it was like Buffalo Wild Wings or something.
Okay.
Like that. Yeah.
We do a better job of second dinner now to do like local places.
Yeah. We try to find some cool places. Yeah.
And if we can't, Applebee's.
Dude, Andrew Yamashiro and I had a second dinner in Las Vegas this last year. A sushi, speaking of. And
That's what I'm thinking of.
all you can eat sushi in Vegas, just the two of us.
Shut it down.
I was sick for a week. I ate so much sushi that night. We when you order sushi, right? Like you have to, all you can eat, you can't have leftovers, right? They charge you for if you don't finish it.
And there's a pride thing involved.
And we weren't getting charged. I can tell you that. It was tough. It was rough. So that's second dinner. Second dinner is where we have our best arguments, right? When we get together, we start talking about different topics. Our most controversial topic is the GOAT conversation, right? Who's the greatest athlete of all time? But yeah, second dinner is an episode coming up. We're going to try to get
like an actual one,
an actual second dinner where we're sitting down somewhere eating, and we got the rest of the boys, all the other coaches together, and we're just hashing it out. And
maybe we can do it in Chicago. I have no idea.
We're hoping to keep it as clean as possible. My mom listens to the podcast. We don't need her hearing swear words.
If Andrew McCall's there,
he just has to be a big boy and not do it, right?
Or we have a great producer.
I'm sure I could
just bleep
edit some stuff out.
Okay, there you go.
Put some sounds over some words.
It's the SpongeBob cursing, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're excited for that episode coming up. We're not sure when that's going to happen, but we're really excited for that one coming up.
Second dinner.
But that was quite the tangent. So that started because hopefully we have some disagreement tonight in our conversation about different positions. So let's go ahead and get started with probably the most important position, middle blocker. Middle blocker is a very underrated, important position.
Underrated, undercoached, everything under.
What does a middle do?
A middle works their butt off and does not get any cred.
Yeah.
That's basically yep. They're like the linemen. I feel like
that's a good point. That's good.
Just like put their nose down, just
call the blocking,
grind, and
call the blocking schemes.
Yep. And if you're really gnarly, you stand out. But even if you're really gnarly, the outside on your team or opposite on your team is probably going to be more known. It's just how it is.
Some people call it the middle hitter. Mm-hmm. I think we'll stick with blocker.
I don't think there's another word for it.
Middle person. I don't know.
I play front middle.
So what happens with girls a lot, and boys too, what happens with young volleyball players?
Where do we put the tall kid?
The tall kids here. Throw them in the middle.
Yeah. And what does that do to them?
It squashes their... This is a hard part because you need tall middles, right? Like they're valuable.
No, it's a necessity. Absolutely.
But it's. I think it squashes a little bit of the fun of volleyball, right? 'Cause, I mean, volleyball in its core, pass, set, hit, right? You're just spinning it over the net, and the middle sometimes get lost in translation, right? You do some of those drills and they just start spinning, right? It's hard to play middle.
So hard.
So what are some physical characteristics of middles that make them good? Like some of the good ones that we've coached in the past, what did they have that made them good?
There's always one that sticks out, just how she thought about it, and that was Erica Snopko.
Okay.
And she's now at Cal State Bakersfield.
Undersized middle.
Undersized middle. She was undersized, but her IQ was so good that she kind of knew it was going to happen before it happened. And then her footwork patterns were so good. Not a lot of really athletic middles have those good footwork patterns. Like Presley Anderson in prep volleyball was a shell of herself when she went to college because of how much she learned about block moves and transitions and routes and stuff. But that was what Erica had. So I would say as a middle, you need to be good at moving laterally. If you can't move laterally quick, like you can't block.
That's the hard part about putting a tall person in there. Sometimes laterally, especially young, right?
Yeah.
Lateral movement's hard for them.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think mentally, I think they need to have the highest IQ of the opponent. And some of the best middles I've ever talked to, a guy that I actually talked to on the way here, Amir Lugo, he's awesome. He's now at Northwestern, won national championships at Long Beach. He has both. He's a freak physically and he's a freak mentally. And he's smart. He knows what's going to happen before it happens. So if you're a middle and you don't know what rotations look like, if you don't know what the setter likes to do, you're going to be average. So that's something they need to have, just kind of foresight.
It's funny because sometimes you call them big dumb middles. That's the funny part.
And then they're not.
Yeah, the good ones aren't.
No.
Eyes are good.
Yes.
You got to be able to see stuff, right? Got to have good eye work. Got to be able to track your setter and get your eyes in the right spot.
Okay, so I have an opinion about what sets middles apart.
Okay.
And I think it's real simple. Can they be available in transition? That's when I see a difference in the caliber of middle.
I don't disagree.
Because any middle can be available and receive.
Right.
Well, and the pass quality has to be good, of course, but it's so much easier. You start off the net, you have this nice runway. You know, in transition is when you really see these special moves and routes, and that's what's cool. And that's when you get to see them be really free and just find a spot on the net. And if your setter and them have that connection, they're good at it.
Yeah. You know, it's funny. You and I have had conversations before about middles. You know, middles don't win games, and you know, it's kind of an overstatement to a certain extent, right? But you know, the explanation of that is it is hard to find them in transition. It's hard to find them in general, and they're not sitting in a serve receive pattern. You know, a lot of times they don't serve. At least in the prep world, they don't. You can find ways to not have them serve. They serve in college, right? In men's game.
They have to serve.
They have to serve because the Libero can't. But so little things like that you know, that prevent a middle from, I guess, having incredible impact on a match. And then sure enough, this last year in the state championship game with my Perry boys team, my middles were the reason we won.
They're great,
right? You can't discredit the fact that my two outsides, Dallin and Canyon Smith, and had a great passing night, and they put the ball where we could find those middles. But Cam and Cooper did a great job of getting to their spots, and Garrick did a nice job of finding them, and they were unstoppable, and we won the game we won the match.
You did
on a gap to Cooper from Garrick, and so middles can have incredible impact when they're active, when they're in shape. They got to. I mean, it's good that they come out every 3 rotations.
They need to.
I don't think
they need to. It's incredible that they would last. It's incredible how, like, when we won our gold medals with the men's, those the first ones at least, those dudes were just playing 6 rotations. Yeah. Like, it's crazy to think about that.
Right, going back row.
Hey, Cooper, we're gonna have you play 6 rows.
Yeah, you're tough, man.
Hey, Natalie Meyer.
Yeah,
we're gonna have you.
You're not coming off the game.
She had to do it one year at Vegas because Andrew wrote the lineup wrong. She was freaking out the whole time.
I'm sure.
The set was over. She's like, never. She looks at Andrew. She's like, with this like mom face, like, you're never doing that again.
Super funny.
So I think back to like where we talked about middles and how they originate. We get this tall kid, we put him in the middle, and they lack skill because they don't get to see the skill.
Right.
And it sucks because then when the ball comes to them on a weird dig transition play, they're so afraid to do anything, especially at a young age. As they get older, they're more confident.
Right.
But imagine if we, did it the Brazilian way. You don't get a position until you're 16 kind of thing.
I would love that.
Because then our tall kids become skilled. And maybe one of those middles turns into a setter because we didn't just throw them in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, and the middles, with the parents, I mean, that's whole nother conversation, right? How many moms and dads, when they're first starting to watch, they don't know a lot about the game. All of a sudden, like, well, my kid only plays three rotations. My kid's out half the time.
Yeah.
This is, they get mad. This is ridiculous.
Why aren't they serving?
Why is my kid not in the game? It's like, oh my gosh. Like,
well, that's the position.
Part of the position. And what I tell kids now, especially the girls, is that middles still go to college. Middles get as much money as everybody else, and they're hard to find.
They are.
Really good ones are hard to find. Pins, and let's talk about those next. Sometimes they grow on trees, right? You can find those a lot easier than you find really elite high-level middles. So if your kid is selected to play middle, be encouraging, right? And help them understand how important it is.
I think they're the blue collar position in our sport by far.
Okay. I like it.
Yeah.
So far we're not disagreeing. So this is not going well.
Thanks for all the chiming in and just throwing bones. Throw a bone right now.
Yeah. What do you got?
You guys are doing great.
Oh, there it is. Okay. All right. Next one. Let's go to maybe a position that Noah has played.
He played opposite the most, correct?
Yeah, that's what I played all throughout high school and most of college.
So let's talk about a right side. Easiest way to define a right side: outside hitter who can't pass.
Yeah. Pass or dig. That's not the same thing, but the same thing. Fun fact, I guess.
Oh, I'm an outside hitter. Well, you can't pass. That makes you a right side.
Yep.
So right side's it's the hitter position that plays on the
right side.
Right side. Right?
What are they also called in other opposites?
Yep. Yeah.
Because they're opposite to the setter.
Right.
Yep.
So the setter has to go over their head, right? We got the little hand motion there, so now everybody knows what it looks like to set. Setter has to set behind him to find him back there.
And that's hard
especially a young age.
I would say 16 and under, setting a red, a C, basically anything behind. It's hard.
Inconsistent.
Yeah. Yep.
A lot of times you'll put lefties on the opposite.
And why is that? Why do we put lefties on the right?
The left arm is contacting the ball before the right, so it's got to cross their body, right? So it's easier for them to hit. On the right, you don't have to wait for that ball to cross the arm. Unicorns in volleyball. Men's volleyball, not so much as girls. Unicorns, 6 rotation right sides.
You know what's cool is the women's game is very... that's a Leo shout out right there.
The dog scratching at the door.
He's back.
He's back.
Dang it, Leo.
I know. He's ruining our whole podcast.
Fine. No, what was I saying?
We were talking about unicorns, 6 rotation opposites.
The women's game is running the D-ball more because I think we need to understand that you can't just have DSs all the time.
One of my favorite opposites to watch is a women's player.
Which
she
one?
Played on the outside
Boscovich?
this year.
Oh.
But when Baylor ran the D-ball with
Josiana
Presley,
that was sick.
Very entertaining to watch.
She's gnarly.
I liked watching her more from the back row than the front row.
Yeah.
I
agree.
Because of that.
Yeah,
I agree.
She was pretty physical.
So I think the women's game is getting more and more on the D-ball side.
Right.
They know that if they're going to beat Serbia, like our Team USA, if they're going to beat Serbia, if they're going to beat Italy, you got to have a guy over there that can jump high and hit garbage balls.
So when I've coached the girls 17s and a girls 18s team, 2 years in a row. And when I coached those girls the first time, I had to show them what it was.
Yep.
Like Lainey Wagner, when we tried to set her, when she's passing out of row 1, she's our outside hitter. We're like, let's just get you on a route here, and let's have you be available. We're gonna call it a D ball. And at first it was like, well, I don't even know what that is, coach. Mm-hmm. But she's really good at it. And I think it's a very underrated deal. And we trying to find that 6 rotation right side that brings value. Here's the deal. You can't just call yourself that because you don't want to come out of the game. In order to stay in the game, you need to be able to serve a ball. You got to be a good server in order to stay in the game, and then you have to be able to defend your position.
Yeah. or else everyone's going to just attack you.
Yeah.
And it's
especially in the girls' game.
Yeah.
Especially in the women's game, right? They can find you.
Yeah.
The men's game, are just trying to hit hard.
Jump high, hit hard.
Right. So, you can hide a guy or you don't necessarily need it. But you got to be able to defend your position there. And I think that gets lost a lot of times. And so the middles and the right sides, you only play half the time sometimes because you don't have that skill. But again, it goes back to who are we putting in these positions as a young person? And so developing the skill of volleyball, serve, pass, hit, dig, all that stuff is paramount at a young age. And I wish, like you said, we had a little bit more of that from top to bottom. Let's get,
just play,
playing,
just play twos, play threes, and then they get really good at skills. What we talked about, what a middle has mentally and physically, I think a right side mentally needs to understand, and I don't know if this is talked about enough. I think it's fascinating. The right side, shout out. No, it's fine. It's fine. Leo's great. Leo's great. Tolman's not a fan of his dog, and it's purely you're judging the book, man. He's a great human.
I'm jealous. Katie pays more attention to him.
Not a human.
He is. Terrible he has dog. He's a human personality. He's great.
Stuck in the dog body. Idiot. All right. I was waiting for your fascinating comment, and then we got sidetracked.
What's really frustrating about playing opposite is the outside hitter on the other side might just give you a day where they're gnarly and you can't stop them. So that's a mental side of the game that, like, hey, if you're not stopping him enough or her, you're going to be a reason we lose, quote unquote. Like that's a big responsibility they have, because they don't necessarily have to hit out of system, because you can find a middle back and a left front. So that's not a skill they have to have. I would say they have to know where to put themselves in relationship to the outside. Like if you're not putting your head on the ball, if you're not getting touches, that's a hot mess.
Yeah.
Noah's ready.
I was just about to ask, do you think they have to be one of the more, I wouldn't say coordinated, but
he's just saying that because
understands like what their body's doing.
I played right side. I'm super coordinated. That's why.
I think all athletes do.
No, I think
all athletes do.
Obviously, they need to have some of that, but I think their skill sometimes can be done in a real controlled environment, right? Like you're only blocking
to your right,
really to your right. I mean, I guess in row one you get stuck there,
well,
whatever, but you're really only moving to your right. Your transition's the same. You're not playing middle back defense where you're digging necessarily both ways. I think
you're literally just worrying about this way.
I mean, if we're talking about body control, outside hitters take the cake for that, or setters for that matter, which is some of the stuff they do with their bodies. But I mean, opposite. Here's an analogy for you. Tell me what you think about this. I think right sides are like closers in baseball. And I know baseball's a dying sport. I apologize if you love baseball. And
it's an awful sport. I didn't say that.
I love baseball. Loved it growing up.
Named after a baseball player, and I hate the sport.
Yeah, we talked about that episode 1. Closers in baseball, they come in at the end, right? They come in, they're just throwing gas. They're trying to get people out. And they're judged on how well they get people out. Just like an opposite hitter, opposite blocker, whatever you want to call them. They're judged on how well they control the outside hitter on the other side. And they're supposed to be terminal. You want your right side to put the ball away, score points for you.
When do you think, I have an opinion about this, when do you think a right side needs to be good on offense? Like if you don't have a good right side at this age, you're not winning. I think it's 17.
Just on offense, or
17,
I think it's
17
all around.
For boys, 16s for girls.
Like I don't think you're a real boys team in like 17 open, 18 open without that guy on the backside. Yeah. I just don't think you are.
I agree. All right, let's move on. Let's go to the other pin. Let's go to the outside hitter. Outside hitter, left side, pin hitter. The do-it-all. The do-it-all. The rock star, the one that everybody cheers for, right? Mm-hmm. They get all the glory.
And I think they should. They have the most skill. They have the most impact. Like if you're looking at like, what do they call that? Points per whatever, like, or weighted, or they're most important. They really are.
When you're picking an outside hitter, you're looking at a kid. Is that your best athlete?
No. Doesn't have to be.
You're going setter? Where are you putting your best athlete?
That's a good one. That's a really good one. I think you have to get to know them mentally to know what they want to accomplish, because every position has a different mental person.
Outside hitters are like what?
If you're
sports,
outside
in other sports, like compare me to another sport.
Shooting guard.
They have to have a short memory, right?
Yeah, you have to have
you got to score.
Shoot.
But you got like, I'm now 3 for 18. I'm still going to shoot the heck out of this thing.
Shout out to Klay Thompson, by the way. Came back.
Yeah,
finally
that
back.
was cool.
Yeah, that was cool.
Shoot or shoot. I think shooting guard is one of them. Running backs. If you don't have a short memory as a running back, you're gonna not like your life.
They have short memories because they get hit so hard all the time. But so outside hitters, really good athletes, not good range, back row, like they can move.
Yep.
Well, the quick twitch muscle guys, jump well, good arm.
I think most of the time you see outside hitters, and you're like, what I see at least, they've played volleyball the longest, other than your setter. Mm-hmm. Most of the time, wow, that guy's been playing since he was 10. Yeah, makes sense. That's why he's on the outside. Yeah, like they just are so crafty. They've seen it all.
They get the lion's share of opportunities. Yep. Right. It's easier to get the ball up to that outside spot, so they get more opportunities. It's a glamorous position. It is. And I think a lot of parents would love to have their kids play outside hitter. Yep. And I think that's part of the problem, right? Because not everybody's built that way. You know, like you want your kid as a basketball player. I want my kid to shoot, right? Like, well, okay, listen, everybody's got to have a role, and maybe your kid's not that, and you can still find success doing other things. So, but yeah, I wish every kid got an opportunity to try it, because it's not as easy as it looks.
What's the most important skill an outside needs to have? And maybe it can be as general as serve to dig, or like all those skills, or is it like a specific skill within those skills?
Mine is passing.
Okay.
You got to have good passing fundamentals.
Wow, I guess I've never really, the most important skill
for the outside
hitter.
I think it's passing too. Noah.
Because if you can't pass, we're just going to throw you on the opposite.
Yeah, I think it's ball control.
You brought it up. The twins, the Smith twins.
Dallin and
if they don't pass, McBurney is less efficient.
Right, they were.
Your middles are less efficient. Gehrig is less efficient because he can score. So I think passing is one, and then out of system attacking is number 2.
Yeah, because
anyone can hit an in-system go ball.
A lot of times, just chucking it up there, right?
And if you can find that kid that jumps high and hits hard in out of system, they stand out, because that is one of the toughest skills.
I don't disagree with that.
And Reed Pretty put his stamp of approval on that too. He thinks like if you can't hit out of system, it means you're not skilled enough. Right. Like that's verbatim.
Well, we're wearing these shirts because we talk about coaching today, and I've coaching my little team, my daughter's little 15s team, and the number one thing we're going to work on over the next little bit is just out of system high ball setting and hitting. It's hard. Well. It's hard. So
yeah, I think passing. If you want to be an outside, then pass first, and then we'll worry about your hitting.
All right. So passing. Let's go to the next one. Liberos.
What's their most important?
Well.
Or just we're gonna like go over it first.
Start. Yeah. So liberos are the short ones, right?
They typically are. Unless you're Evan Enriquez. He's one that always comes to mind, that Stanford libero. He's like 6'3", 6'2". Comes like he stood out. But yeah, most of the time you're probably 5'10" and under. Most of the time.
Yeah, little ones.
Even men's or women's game, you are 5'10" and under. How tall is Eric Shoji? Is he 6 flat?
Noah's gonna look it up for us.
We got our fact checker going over there.
Okay, so it brings the short people into our game. The shorter people. No offense.
6 foot flat for Eric.
6 foot flat.
6 foot even.
That's a tall libero.
In Genia Grebennikov, probably 6'1", 6'2".
All those guys probably about that.
Yeah, but then the women's game, if you get a 6 foot libero, you're different.
Oh gosh, yeah, you're a whole nother level.
Yeah, you totally stick out for sure.
Well, our good friend Brooke Nunnerville,
she's a libero. She's
5.
Was she 6'10"
and a half?
Oh, she's not 6 foot.
5'11". No, I don't think she ever hit 6 feet.
Okay.
But she's pretty long for a libero.
She is.
In the female side. Even though she isn't really doing that at Oregon.
What skill do they have to be? So this is I think we could argue this, because do you want to, as a coach, do you want a digging libero or a passing libero?
Yes. The best ones do both.
I think that differs game to game. So game to game.
I mean, here's the thing. Liberos, like if you're coaching and you're looking across the net and you're looking at trying to find somebody to serve, obviously there's a lot of there's a lot of strategy behind who you serve and where you serve and things like that. But the first person, for the most part, that coaches are going to eliminate is the libero. Don't serve the libero, right? So I think passing is not necessarily as high a skill importance for liberos as maybe digging.
Just because you have that shirt
you're
on.
wearing that shirt, that don't serve that girl.
I do think it changes for me. Are we playing girls or boys volleyball?
Right.
Boys volleyball, if you can't pass, you can't be a libero. If you are girls volleyball, you can't dig, can't be a libero.
I mean,
that's also like
the men's game, right? We're spinning balls over the net at a high speed of velocity, and we're not really caring where they go as long as they go in. So your libero is going to touch more balls that way.
Well, and how many times, hey, best libero in the country, best outside hitter in the country, dig him on an open net. I'm going to take the outside hitter every freaking time because it's that hard to dig.
Yeah.
And in the men's game, it's more important to side out than it is to dig.
Right.
It's not like we should be bad at digging, but in the women's game, if you can't dig balls,
you're in trouble.
You're losing. Yeah. You are absolutely losing.
I've seen many liberos on a women's game, girls game, affect change in a game.
Just dig.
Because of how gnarly they are defensively.
Animorphs.
Yeah, it's a great one to think about. And the other day I was coaching my libero that I've got right now, and I told her, listen, liberos are freaking out on the outside and calm on the inside, right? And by freaking out, I mean like just they're
everywhere. They look like spazzes,
right? You're just going hard. You're diving into the seam. You're rolling over the top. You're covering. You're taking one off the face. I mean, you're all over the place. The really good ones, but always just calm and collected and just ready for the next one. And I think it's a great example. I mean, Anna was great at it
mentally
at changing the game because of her outward physicality and then just her inward calm. Really unflappable. I mean, liberos, you're going to shank a ball, right?
Move on.
And you got to get to the next one.
My favorite thing about a libero mentally, if your kid wants to be a libero, they need to be crazy. That is your Dennis Rodman. That is your Rondo. That is like whatever you want to do.
A little streak.
You have a little bit of crazy in you because if that ball goes near the bench, what bench?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna get it.
Uh-huh.
So that's the first thing. One of the first liberos that I thought was crazy and this is positive was Natalie Haglund. So we got to shout out her because she's our Ren rep.
Right. Hooking us up with some good looking gear.
When I was in high school, I think she's slightly older than me. I would show all my players out of high school, coming out of high school, I'd be like, watch that girl because she's different. She hates when that ball drops. And even if she doesn't get it, she's going to think she got it because she's just crazy.
Good communicators.
Yep. Who do they work with? That's something we should talk about. Like what position should they be communicating with the most?
I think the middles.
I agree.
Yeah.
Noah?
I'd probably have to say the middles after thinking about it for the 5 seconds that you guys gave.
And then who do you think they should be closest to? Like a quarterback is closest to their lineman. Who should they be closest to? Because I have an opinion of that.
Outsides.
Yeah, because they're standing next to them.
If you don't trust your outsides or your defender.
And then if the outside can't trust you normally, or at least I have my liberos always call, hey, what's available for all your attackers? But if your outside can't trust your libero.
Yeah.
So my libero today, Zoe, what's her name? She finally, and we've been working on it, she finally locked into the pocket, right? So she's standing over there in 2x2, 3x3, and she likes to move, right? And
they
young
all do.
players love to move.
They move to move.
And I kept telling her, just sit down in your spot. They're going to hit it right at you, right? And next thing you know, literally the very next play, they hit it right at her, and she gets a great dig. She's super excited and stuff. And then I talked to her after the game. I said, listen, libero's hard.
Yeah.
Right. And it's hard when your middles aren't as consistent blocking as they should be. Right. When the block there's a hole in it and there's one here and one there and the hands are all over the place. And another, playing libero can get really hard. And it can get really frustrating because you're like, I'm in the right spot. Right. Mm-hmm. I'm where my coach told me to be. And then she hit it to where I wanted to stand. And so there's a little bit like, hey, I gotta forget some of that and just, go crazy and understand that it's hard to do because
you're not going to dig everything.
It's an inexact science. Ball bounces funny, and you just got to be willing to go crash through something to get it.
I think liberos are so funny. Typically, as humans, they're freaking hilarious.
I love our liberos. They're great.
Yeah.
All of them. Yeah. For fantastic people and really cool volleyball players. So let's finish our conversation here with.
Yeah. What position's left? It's not a very important position.
Setter.
It's really like.
Setter. The single most important position on the court.
Yep. No, I can't argue. I was trying to create an argument, but that was it.
You can't,
it was a fake
you can't
argument.
do it.
Yep. Nope.
Because I've seen teams that have everything ironed out and then their setter comes out and you're like, well,
Yours only as good as your
we've got
setter.
a shot,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And then I've seen teams that are very average and their setter's gnarly and they elevate.
Yep.
The setter's the best leader, communicator.
They don't care if you don't like them.
They
are alpha. They have to be your biggest alpha.
Right.
We are doing it this way. If we lost. We did it my way.
They got to work hard.
Yep.
I don't think they can take practices off.
They have to be your like passing is a game of feet kind of thing. Like setting, you have to be the most technical.
Good footwork.
Yep.
Good fundamentals.
If you're off, everyone else is worse.
Mm-hmm.
As a libero, if you're off like a little bit, is it really as noticeable?
No, not at all.
No, but a setter,
because a
you're
good
off.
setter can make it disappear,
Boom.
right?
Yeah.
A good setter puts a 12-foot ball off the net right on the money.
On the money, yep.
You know what's really weird? And I don't know how this happened. I have 3 of them in my house. I don't know how that happened.
I think there's something to that we as volleyball coaches, it's just something that happens because they're around the coach brain so much that they then want to control the match.
Boy, my 3 do.
Yeah.
It's okay. So let's look at each one of those. They're good examples of this. Daxton.
All different people.
All different.
All very different people.
So my oldest Daxton, left-handed. Mm-hmm. Natural position as a setter.
Why?
To try to,
Why is that?
He can turn and attack, and he's really good at it.
And that's hard to do as a right-handed hitter because the ball. Yep.
So he takes it off that left shoulder, and he can be offensive at the net. So it was a natural thing with him. But when he first started and he played with you, in
middle.
the 7th grade,
Played middle for us.
He was the middle, and he had his hands, it was just bricks, right? He was so bad at it, and he worked his butt off. He's got beautiful hands now. Garrig was kind of my second one. He's a senior now. He was kind of like a default. Like, oh, we don't got everybody else that can actually do that. So Garrig in like the 7th grade, yeah, Garrig, go give it a shot. And he kind of had a noodle arm, terrible arm when he was young. Couldn't hit a ball at all.
I'm going to defend him. I made fun of him a lot too. So
we did. We have done that, man.
But now he's
thick skin. He's a setter. He has thick skin.
He's good enough at hitting. Garrig, that does not mean you get it.
He's got a great arm.
Good arm. Don't say great.
It's great.
Oh gosh.
Compared to where it was, I can call it great. Right? He had a great swing in the state championship game. We talk about that one all the time, where he turned and put a ball, down. Like he hit it hard. He's getting better at it. And then Lily, I think Lily looked at her brothers.
I think you're right.
But she's developing and she's having some good moments out there.
I think she is learning. You got to have thick skin.
Sure.
Right? She is like, she can't take it personal.
Because she has thin skin, like her mom.
Like you got it. It's not personal. This is volleyball. Right. This is not Lily. You're one of the greatest humans I've ever met.
Right.
We're talking volleyball.
Yeah. Yeah. And she's definitely grown up. And I've gotten after her the last couple of weeks, coaching daughter, and it's been good. We've had some good moments. So,
well, and you just look around the state, like all these coaches' kids, a lot of them are setters.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
In this state too,
right.
Especially. You got the Leos, both of them set. Tatum Rome.
Yeah.
Right?
Like Tony Oldani's got
two.
He's got
one played middle.
A setter outside the middle.
He got the whole gauntlet.
Yeah, he's running the whole thing.
That's because he's the best.
Yeah, Jeff Grover, Highland's got a couple of liberos.
That's true.
But a libero is like, if you had to pick the
second
next
best ball handler,
the next like coach's kid,
it could be libero.
Libero might be it. So anyway, a good conversation, Will. I think we had made some good points.
Did we miss anything? No.
I don't think so. No.
Okay.
Real quick before everything ends, I'm going to drop a question.
Okay.
Ooh.
Favorite volleyball player to watch, regardless of level.
Oh, like of all time? Are you
all
like
time.
Current? Oh, okay.
All time.
Are you going to go first because you did the question?
No.
Oh.
So now we got to think. Favorite volleyball player to watch of all time. Guys, listen. Here's the deal. Full honest answer. I don't watch a lot of volleyball.
Yeah. It's because you have a family and you have a life.
So my favorite volleyball players to watch,
your son.
Yeah, my boys.
Yeah, your boys.
Jackson Garrigan. And Lily, I'm starting to watch more now as she's getting older, and she's definitely. I had some great dad moments this weekend watching her play, but I I get a ton of joy watching Dax and Garrick play volleyball. Those two are so much fun. As a dad, I'm sure other people are like, they're good. For me, dude, those guys, those two, when they're on the volleyball court, are incredible. But again, that's a dad thing. Right?
And I only coached Dax to seventh grade year. Never got to coach him again. But Garrick, I adore him.
He's a really coachable kid. They're good kids. I don't know names either. Like I could get the guy.
I'm going to give you two.
The guy. I guess
who on the national team? Here, just do a national team.
So when I watched the Olympics this year, I loved watching that Russian right side. Like he can tie his shoes without bending over because his arms are super long and he's got these big, broad shoulders. I don't even know his name, bro.
Is he a lefty or righty?
Righty.
Okay, so that's Mikhailov.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, he's like 80 years old, but he's not. He's played in, I think, 4 Olympics.
Old man volleyball thing.
Check that.
I enjoyed watching him.
He's been there before. I like him. I think one of the most exciting opposites in the world right now is the lefty from Russia, Viktor Politive.
Yeah,
he's incredible.
We need to get Dax and Garrick in here these conversations because those two know all of those guys.
All right, who do you got? Because I'm an American. Mm-hmm. I got my national team guy.
Okay, who's that?
And then I got my overseas guy.
All right, who's your national team guy?
I'm going to go overseas first. You got to end with the best.
Okay, my bad.
Irvin Ngapeth.
Okay.
My God.
He's kind of a wild card.
He's great. I wish I don't know him personally, outside looking in. I wish he was a better teammate, but volleyball wise, dude, no. You can't teach what he does. His out-of-system attacking, he puts more pressure in out-of-system attacking, I think, than anyone in the world.
He's special.
For him. National team, Max Holt.
Okay.
Max Holt. That dude's footwork patterns, that his feet land in the same spot every time.
That's a geeky answer for
He's
sure.
He's fantastic.
That's a volley nerd answer.
He's perfect. His serve is one of the best in the world when it's on. I've been told great things about him as like a leader, and like I love Max Holt.
That's cool. All right. Noah, you got one now?
Real quick, just to loop back, Mikhailov, we were talking about, correct? He's 33 years old.
That's incredible.
Has played in 4 Olympics.
He gets to do one more too because he'll be 36.
Insane.
Or 30, whatever. That's insane. No, because it's a 3-year quad.
Dude, he's fun to watch, man. He's got, I'm telling you, those shoulders, like they're as wide as Russia, dude.
He's good. I'm glad you know him. That makes me like, he's one of the best in the world. So
I watched the Olympics. I mean, I just don't nerd out with it like some of you guys do. So anyway, no, you got a guy.
Overseas, it's tough. So I think my favorite volleyball player of all time is Ivan Zaitsev.
Okay.
Opposite, outside. Do you think he's more of an opposite or an outside? Like
I've heard that name a lot in my house. The boys love him.
I would say he's more of an opposite, but he could
too.
also go to the outside and not lose a step.
Oh, he doesn't because his club team he plays there too. Mm-hmm. Gabby Garcia beat him out.
Okay,
actually, Gabby Garcia is no longer starting. He is on the bench because Zaitsev is back.
Oh, you got it, Gabby. Keep working hard.
Got a good matchup.
2 of my more recent favorite people to watch, Nishida.
Okay, who's Nishida? Who does he play for? Who he play for?
Japanese, bro.
And then, Ali, I can't remember his first name.
I got you.
Michieletto. Is it?
Yes.
Is he the young Italian?
Like the 6'10" lefty Italian.
Yeah, he's up and coming.
He's cool.
He is very fun to watch.
No American for you stands out.
Favorite American to watch ever, Gage Worsley.
I think his personality helps him so much.
That is 100% why. He is such a big character on the court. He makes watching volleyball fun, even if it's not a fun match to watch.
Right.
I think we should credit some girls players too here, because Tiana Boscovich overseas is unreal. In our national team, Jim, I don't know. It's tough. I think Poulter is going to be great. But
so you guys get nerdy with some of these, and I'm like, well, I guess I gotta watch more volleyball.
You have a wife, you have kids.
I got stuff to do.
You got stuff to do, man.
And you know, volleyball's not on ESPN. That's probably why. I mean, can you imagine if we got some SportsCenter highlights every day, like we do basketball and football and all that? So
it's getting better sometimes, but bro, cornhole gets sometimes more time than you do.
It is. So all right, hey, great conversation.
I enjoyed that.
That was good. Yeah. A little longer today than we have been going,
but it was organic.
Yeah, it was good. I liked
Certified.
it. We covered each position. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment. We'd love to hear from you. And
why don't all of you listening, if you've got to this point, comment your favorite player to watch ever.
Oh, there you go.
That's a good one.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get 2 comments because it's only like my mom and my wife.
No. Trust me, they'll put comments.
Watch Daxon Garrick's name's going to pop up there because my mom's the only one that gets all the way to the end, right? So anyway, we love you viewers. If you made it this far, thanks for hanging in with us, and we will see you guys next time.